a Gets Yourself Over Monday. And somebody who, in my eyes, and I said this last week too, and this is an interesting topic that we'll have to get into after our interview. But this guy I don't think needs to get himself over. To me, this guy is already over, but you know what? He wants the opportunity to get over with the Busted Open Nation, and that is, to me, a must-see champion. You can watch him on NWA Power, and it is the Outlandish Zicky Dice. Zicky, how are you today?
Ladies and gentlemen, Busted Open just got outlandish. It is your NWA World must-see television champion, Outlandish Zicky Dice, and I'm doing great because today is day 69 of a perfect title run of 0-0.
Well, you popped us already. You're over.
And I got to say, David, I don't want to kiss your ass right off the bat, but God, I'm glad I finally found someone similar to me. I hate Lord of the Rings, and I also hate Star Wars, so there's that.
Hang up on this douche nozzle.
No, Bully. I loved Outlandish Zicky Dice.
I hope I meet you in a locker room so I can kick you in your freaking mouth.
No, Bully.
I knew that was coming from you early. I knew that.
Now, Zicky, you had me when you debuted on NWA Power. You had me when you became the must-see television champion. But I got to be honest with you. If there was ever a time I was going to grab a T-shirt and buy it, is right after the first 30 seconds of this interview, because you're 100% right. Why would you watch Dirty Muddy Feet like Lord of the Rings?
My new television T-shirt on NWA. Pre-orders are up on NationalWrestlingAlliance.com. The new television T-shirt, it's a must-have. So I'm glad you brought that up.
See, this is why you have to love Outlandish Zicky Dice, Bully. We get him on a Get Yourself Over Monday, and 90 seconds in, what does he do? He tells everybody exactly who he is and why you should watch him. He has a lot of energy and passion. He snuggles up to the lead host on the show by saying he hates Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, and he gets the new T-shirt out there and where you could buy it. Hello, a win. This guy gets it.
That's what I'm talking about, David LeGreca. I've been telling the world I've been the best-kept secret in professional wrestling for a while, and now the world has a taste, and now I get to bring it to Busted Open.
I think I'm going to call Lagana and Billy and get myself booked against Zicky, take his finish, and kick out at 1, just because of those outlandish comments.
At one, Zicky.
Oh.
Zicky, give me some.
I'm sure they're waiting by the phone. That's got to happen. I've been trying, there's been a rumor that I started the coronavirus because I wanted to protect my title run, but that's not true. I just want to lay that out here. I am a fighting champion, and what I've been doing during the quarantine is searching high and low for the best that professional wrestling has to offer, because what I want to do, listen close, when Power comes back on the first episode, I want to defend my title 7 times in a row in one evening alone. So then I can get my hands on what I call the 10 pounds of pink.
The 10 pounds of pink?
That's right, because as soon as I win the 10 pounds of gold, my friend Bully Ray, I'm going to dip it in pink paint and pink glitter, and I'm going to take over the world.
Wow. Disrespecting the 10 pounds of gold.
How do you think Nick Aldis is going to feel about that?
Who gives a hoot? You almost had to. Who cares what Nick Aldis thinks? I sure as hell don't, because they have the Lucky 7 rule. If I was Nick Aldis, he's champion going on almost 600 days, and he's got that title talked about, but I would be afraid because megastar Zicky Dice just came into the picture, and he's the most talked about superstar in the NWA and professional wrestling alone.
I mean, think about it. First of all, a record of 0-0 as champion. 69 days. You got to love it that he came on Busted Open in his 69th day of defense of this TV championship. 69. Love that number. And also,
of course you do, LeGreca. Of course you do. 12-year-old. 69.
69.
He reminds me of boobies.
Love boobies. Anyway, so, Zicky Dice, and honest, this is where, when we talk about NWA Power, Bully, a lot of what we talk about with NWA, and we've had Lagana and, on this show several times, and we talk about the nostalgia aspect of NWA Power. It brings you back to 1983 watching World Championship Wrestling. But a lot of times people kind of forget about the new stars that are a part of this show. And you have to look to the future. You can only rely on nostalgia for so long. There needs to be other personalities and characters that move this company and this show forward. And Zicky Dice, with you as television champion, I think you're one of those wrestlers that are going to take the NWA into the future.
You know what? I think you're 100% right. And every time the story comes up, I gotta lay it out how I got to NWA, because it's actually quite funny. I've been going on, let's see, August will be 5 years since my debut match. I went and trained in Davenport, Iowa. I was in the third graduating class of the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy under Seth Rollins and Merrick Brave. And ever since graduating, I did what I could to get out there on the indies. I would fly myself to promotions. I went to Ring of Honor tryouts. I've been to New Japan Dojo. I've did the extra work at WWE. I've had the tryout matches. I've done it all. And I was sick and tired of hearing, oh, you're a star, this is going to happen, blah, 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 blah. So I was ready to throw in the towel, believe it or not. I had been working for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood for about on and off for 3 years, and never once was I given a promo in the ring, backstage, nothing. And I never complained about it. I knew when my time would come that I would absolutely kill it. So in the car ride down there, it was a 6-hour drive to the show. I helped on the show last minute. And we were, talking in the car. I don't know what else to do. Kind of beating ourselves up, and get to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood a little early. And they're like, hey, Zicky, you're here early. Why don't you get geared up and cut a promo? I said, absolutely. I went out, and I swear to you guys, I said 6 words, something very, very simple. I was immediately pulled back by Billy Trask, who is a producer at NWA and Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. And I was pulled around the corner where I saw Billy Corgan and David Lagana standing there, and Corgan goes to me, he's all, look at your hair and your glasses and your earring and your fanny pack. He's like, what are you doing December 14th? And I sat in my head. I was like, that sounds familiar. I was like, oh, me and my fiance just planned a snow trip. And I looked at him. I said, nothing. I'm completely free. He said, well, how would you like to work for me in the NWA? I said, I would absolutely love that. And, Lagana, he's like, okay, Lagana will reach out to you on Monday. Lagana brought me in. He's like, look, we got you here for season 2 and the Hard Times pay-per-view in that weekend. Then we'll see what happens after that. And lo and behold, look what happened. I am now running the NWA, and I tell everyone this, just like it was for Arn Anderson, and it's just the same way for Zicky Dice. This is my World Television Championship. I am getting this title talked about, and I am taking it to the moon, and there is no plans on slowing down.
Wow. Zicky, you talked about training at the Black and Brave Academy. 2-part question. How much training did you actually get from Seth? Like, how often was Seth in the ring with you? And you were in a rock and roll band with Seth, weren't you? Or a punk band with Seth, right?
I sing in a band called Heart to Heart. I met Seth through the music scene. He was a fan of the style of music. I don't know if he was a fan of my band, but I met him on a few tours in Crossing. It was on stage. We were in Nashville, Tennessee, and I was acting like a jackass, and the tour manager said, hey, look, I got to talk to you after the show. I was like, oh, shit, I think we're getting kicked off. So he pulls me around. He's like, look, you grew up wrestling freestyle and Greco. He's like, you're agile. He's like, you're oozing with charisma. He's like, I think you could be very successful in the wrestling business, and I think you should go become a professional wrestler. So I text Seth Rollins, and I said, hey, I want you to train me. And he said, verbatim, he said, are you serious? And I said, yes, I'm going to be better than you are one day. He said, I'll see you May 1st. So I packed up everything I had from California, and I moved to the Midwest. And that question comes up a lot, Bully, to be honest with you. And Black and Brave students now are very lucky. At the time, we were running at a Quad City CrossFit. So Seth being CrossFit Jesus, we had to do CrossFit, I think, 4 or 5 times a week. We had training Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and we had to set up and tear down the ring every single day after training with another CrossFit workout to end training. Now, at the time, Seth was still doing Raw and SmackDown, so he was working Monday, Tuesday. So Tuesdays, we had our trainer Crotch with a K, shout out to Crotch, and Merrick Brave. And then Wednesday, Thursday, it was Rollins, Merrick Brave, and Crotch every single Wednesday, Thursday without a beat. unless he was traveling. And yes, he was in the ring with us. He was very hands-on, and I couldn't have had a better experience. I broke in at 26, at the age of 26, so I wanted to go and get trained, in my opinion, and we can argue that by the best in the world. Cool thing is, I was at WrestleMania 31, and it was 2 weeks later that I started training. So I was one of 12 to be trained by a current WWE champion, which is pretty cool as well.
You know, I loved everything that you've been saying, Dick, and I think everyone that's listening to this show right now understands like your personality, and you have charisma. There's no doubt about it. But I love the fact that, like, you know, you're working with Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and saying you're not getting any opportunities. You're not getting any opportunities on the microphone to really get over your character, but you waited it out. Like, you knew your opportunity was going to come, and when it came, you know, it gave you another opportunity. And you know what, too? I mean, I hope you're still with, you know, your fiance. I hope that hasn't changed because you didn't go on that ski trip. And there you go. Like, you could have easily said, well, I do have plans, but you don't say no. When an opportunity is given to you, you grab that opportunity and you take it and you make the most of it. And now you're on TV. And Bully and I had a conversation. What? Go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but what comes to mind, and I got to say this, is it was a matter of right place, right time, and trusting the process. You know, I was working these shows, David, where I see all my buddies getting scooped up left and right by every company known to man. And I knew somebody somewhere was watching, and I knew that everyone had their own road, and I just had to trust the process and relax and keep working hard.
And also, too,
you know what? Here's the only thing I'm going to hold on, Dave. The only thing I'm going to disagree with you on is trusting the process, Zicky, because in pro wrestling and making it in the pro wrestling business, I don't believe that there is a process. There is no one given process. A lot of it has to do with the right place at the right time, as you said, and knocking it out of the park when given the opportunity. And it sounds like that's exactly what you did, but there was no process. Wrestling is so hit or miss. You never know when the opportunity is going to happen. And opportunity doesn't knock very loud in the wrestling business unless you're born with a last name. Then opportunity knocks just a little bit louder. But I like what you said about right place at the right time, because you had confidence in yourself. And then when the gun was put to your head, you stepped up to the plate, you knocked it out of the park. You're with the NWA now, and people saw your talent. I'm still kicking out of your finish.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you. And you know, what I've done is a lot of things that aren't comfortable for most people, and some things I've done aren't comfortable for me. Like, to be honest with you, you know how I got on the show today? I slid into David's DMs. I said, "Hey, I want to talk to you." You know, and that's something that closed mouths don't get fed. How would David know that I want to be on the show if I didn't say something? And look, here we are.